guys, I'm Megan here with Project Create, a local DC nonprofit committed to youth and community development through art making. So we provide various art groups in the community, art therapy, art education, other creative groups to help youth get together and embrace art making and be creative. So I am the art therapist at Richardson Dwelling, part of Sasha Bruce network. And there's my dog. And I'm normally there on Tuesdays, but today I'm here with you. And today we are going to be making a cut paper mandala. So a mandala is any artwork created within a circle. So all you are going to need today is paper and scissors and glue or tape if you have it. And if you don't have any of those things, we can make it work in some other way. So I have here a square piece of paper with a circle on it, and I used a vase in my kitchen to trace this circle. So if you have something to trace, that's wonderful. If not, it's totally fine. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. And then I also have some colored paper that I'm going to be using today to make my mandala. So if you have regular white paper that you want to color, that would work. If you want to make this all in one color, that would also work and create a really nice texture. So whatever you have, we can definitely make some art. Let's get started. So like I said, a mandala is any artwork created in this circle. So this doesn't necessarily have to be something made with cut paper. If you want to draw or paint in the circle, that's also fine. I just am going to be using cut paper today to do something different. So like I said, I have a bunch of different sheets of colored paper here. And what I'm going to do is cut these sheets into different shapes and layer them to create kind of a sculptural 3D piece within my circle. So all of these pieces have already been cut into squares. And like I said, if you are using plain white paper that you're going to color or just white paper, you don't have to make it into a square. But if you do, which you can do just by measuring, making sure that each side is the same length and then cutting off the edge. If you do, then you can fold and cut the piece of paper and it will keep its symmetry. So what I'm going to do here, I don't really have a plan. So I am just kind of embracing whatever happens in my mandala today. So what I'm going to do is make a couple different folds with my red paper. And then we're going to make a couple different cuts and see what happens here. If you don't have scissors, you could also feel free to maybe do less folds and then rip the paper. So I'm just going to cut out some triangles. And again, I'm not going into this with a plan, just kind of seeing what happens. There's no mistakes here. There's no wrong way to do this. Like I say that in most of my videos. Whatever you make today is what you're supposed to make today. I'm also going to save these scraps because I never know when I'm going to use my scraps of paper. All right. So let's start unfolding and see what happens. If you guys have ever made paper snowflakes, it's kind of a similar process to what I'm doing right now. Ooh, so this almost reminds me of a spider web. So I'm going to glue this in the middle of my circle to be the first layer of my mandala. And my circle here on this paper is just kind of a base, you know. I think I'm going outside of it a little bit with this first sheet, but that's okay. Not a big deal. I'm also using way more glue than there is paper, but it'll dry clear, so that's okay too. If you don't have glue, like I've said before, tape would work just fine here, and you might actually be able to get away with using a lot less of it than I'm using right now. Totally up to you. Also, if you don't have tape or glue, if you've cut out something like this, something that can be really cool might be just laying it down on the paper and tracing the shapes and then moving it and using it as a kind of stencil to create a design, and then you can leave it, you can color it in, you can draw on top of it, you know, ever happens. Ever happens. All right, so here's my first layer. Now, I think I'm gonna use a different color just to kind of keep it moving. So this is something that I'm gonna want some things for these outer edges here. So I'm gonna take a similar approach like I did before by cutting out a shape from this yellow. So all of the folds that I'm doing are kind of centered around this middle point here. And that's how I'm able to get these symmetrical shapes. So symmetrical just means that all the sides are even and the same. And if you like that, great, but you don't have to do that. Cut out the middle. I think I'm gonna stick with my triangles. Again, I'm saving all my scrap paper because you never know. We have just one ring here. This is the inside of that square. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that over my red like this. So these patterns can be very cool to display in your house or your room. There's something that might look nice hanging in your window to catch the sun. They create very cool shadows, which can be some inspiration for future art projects. Like I said, if we're tracing these shapes, maybe we could be tracing those shadows too. And if that's something that inspires you, all about feeling inspired from the little things we can find in our homes. You know, I haven't used anything but paper, glue, and scissors here. I think we've come up with some strategies if we couldn't find those things too. And that's another thing, if you want to use something else for your mandala that I don't have, please feel free to. If you want to use maybe natural materials, you know, like leaves or flowers, if you want to use magazines, so you have pictures you can put in here, or I don't know, glitter or stickers, anything. A mandala is any art created within a circle. There are no rules. And if you don't want to make a mandala and you just want to collage in some way, that would be excellent too. Just looking for creativity. Okay. And this will not stick down. All right. So we've got some layers going on here. So now I'm going to add some blue for my next layer. Got my primary colors going on in here. And I think what I'm looking for now is a couple thinner rings. Like I have this yellow ring here. So again, I'm going to fold my paper. I've been folding it diagonally like this. I'm going to fold it this way, see what happens. I'm going to fold it in half a couple times. And then, let's do one diagonal fold here. Just playing. Let's see what happens with these guys. So we have some perfect thin little squares here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them out from the middle. I don't think. Oh, I might make this one a little small. I'm going to start with this tiniest little blue square. I'm going to layer some of these larger squares around the piece. It can be hard to glue over the existing, the paper that's already there. So this is definitely an exercise in patience. Especially once we start to cut these really thin little patterns and lay them down. Oh, some of my paper is ripping right now. That's okay. Bracing the process. I'm going to add a couple more rings here. This could look very cool to go in after with some markers, if that's something you want to do. You know, I think that when we have a bunch of different media or art materials just kind of lying around, well, I guess right now anything can be an art material, so it's kind of exciting to see where that can go. Right. I'm going to cut this because it is not going to lay flat. Oh. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so this is where I am so far. I don't know what direction this is going to go in. or which way it will hang up, if I want to cut away some of the white paper at the end so it's just the mandala. I don't know, we will have to see. All right, so this is my finished mandala for now. Like I said, I don't know if it will continue to grow and if I will experiment with maybe markers or hanging it up in my house or other materials to see what happens. But for now, this is its finished state. I'm very happy with it. So mandalas can bring some peace and calm. There's something about working in pattern, working in a circle that can be very grounding. So if you're feeling some stress or anxiety right now, mandalas can be a good directive to engage in, definitely. So I hope that you guys stay safe and healthy, and we will be back making art together soon. Bye.